Alright, guys, we're back for, I think, the first Supercoach video of 2025. I think the last one was still recorded in December. So, full Supercoach is open now. It's been open for around about a week. I've just had absolute zero motivation to even open the app. Um, I'm not too sure what it is. Maybe once, preseason comes around and I'm starting to actually watch football, I'll be excited for the season again because right now, I really have no motivation for the season at all. Um, but I've been keeping up with some players and what people have been saying about them and a couple of reports that came out. So I have made some changes to the team. I think really it's still the same team, but I've just gone a little bit more mid-price heavy. Um, Changed up the forward line a little bit. But anyway, we'll get into it, right? So starting in defense, I feel like there's a lot of good value in defense. I've gone with Sinclair to start, but like I think you do have to pick one of the top guys, right? Like the idea I used last year as well was start guys that you know are good, right? Don't take so many chances in the starting team because end of the day you only have 6 spots, right? So pick someone that is going to be a top 6 defender. Sinclair definitely will be. He's 7 this year, but like Zorko actually ended up playing all of his matches last year. Not really anyone should have picked a fullback in McGovern. Sheasel missed a couple, and Sheasel, other positions as well. Flanders other positions as well. So Sinclair, I'm very happy with picking. He's going to be a top 6 player. I don't really see an issue with that, right? And you could say he's kind of undervalued a little bit. All these other guys around 630, 640. He is sub 600k, so there is a little bit of value there. Next, it's a pretty big drop off, right? So I think in the original team I had Sheasel and Sinclair, which I still say like Sheasel is a good pick. It's just I've gone a bit cheaper and gone for players that I think could produce the same for less. So still going. I'm looking for Colby McKercher. So if the reports are right, he's going to be playing a bit more midfield this year, not extinct from halfback. North overall should be better, right? This is what year 4 of like the new rebuild, so they should be a lot better this year. We'll see how it all goes with them, but McKercher, 88.5 rookie year. All of the North players have always gotten better in their second year. Sheasel got better in his second year. LDU got better in his second year. We'll see with this one. I do feel pretty confident in it. He's a good player, which helps, but it's also the system. North play a system that is pretty good for Supercoach scoring, especially on that half back to, say, the midfielder that plays back, right? They're always pretty good for scoring. And even like high disposal midfielders are pretty good for North because it's such a contested game. There's a lot of contests. Then we've got Matt Roberts. So with Matt Roberts, there is a bit of a coaching change, or a big coaching change in Sydney. Dean Cox has taken over. I still think it's going to be the same system, to be honest. I think Horse's system is going to stay, and it's just like a new face and maybe a couple new ideas. But I thought Roberts was pretty good last year for like his first season, playing defense, playing for a good team, made the grand final. We don't talk about the grand final itself. He's playing back again this year. They've already had their practice game. He's playing as a halfback. Disposal getter. He's taken kick-ins. Lloyd's moved basically just onto the wing now, right? Or if he's not the wing, he's the halfback that will rotate onto the wing. So there's not that much competition there, but the guy that is competing is another Sydney player. Man, I forgot his name. He is a bit cheaper. Damn, I was hoping it would just come to me, but Yeah, there's another Sydney player that is also playing halfback, and I've thought about putting him in. It's just a matter of then I'd have a couple too many Sydney players, and only so many people can play off halfback, right? And actually score. Like, you don't want to just be full of halfbacks, especially if they're the same team. So next, Callum Mills. In the practice game, he's played as a midfielder. In preseason training, he's training in the midfield group. All signs point to he's a midfielder again. So 357k as a midfielder. Absolute worst case scenario is he hits like over 500k. I guess worst case scenario, he doesn't get over his injury, it comes back and he's hurt again. But I don't really see that. Mills, I don't know, I feel like he's durable when you watch him play. Like, he has had an injury history, but when you watch him play, he does kind of like take contact and keep going. So I'm pretty safe with it. I'm pretty happy with this player being a safe pick. 357, right? Like, if he plays good, he can go up to that 600k mark. I don't know if he's still got it in him with the Sydney midfield. Sydney midfield is a lot better than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago when he was very good. But yeah, I for this price, I think Mills is a absolute must pick. Going on from there, this is where I have one of these guys I'm not sold on yet. He's just kind of there to represent an idea of like going for value. And that's Ari Schoenmaker for St Kilda. So right next to him, you're probably saying, oh, just pick Kitty Coleman. Coleman is not playing round 0. He's not playing round 1. I'm not touching that. If they're already marking him out, that means he's not completely recovered. And he's got a bad injury history as well. 39%, like, I understand it, but I don't think it's actually a good pick. I think you have to let him come back and then pick him up when he's like 330k. Because from there, he's going to keep going up, right? This is a guy that I'll miss the first price rise on happily. Because then I'll be able to see him playing, I'll be able to see a role and everything like that. As for Schoenmaker, though, again, a halfback. He's actually one of the top candidates for Rising Star this year for like St Kilda's team. Reading a couple of boards and stuff like that, they're pretty high on him. Him and Hugo Garcia. But Garcia's more forward/mid. I think in this game he's got forward mid. He's another guy that I wouldn't be like against taking because there's a lot of potential there. But yeah, then you kind of like playing into the hype of teams a little bit. So I'm fine with Schoenmaker for now. This isn't like a concrete pick or anything like that. Duday, I mean, if he's healthy, I don't mind this pick at this price. He could make some value, make some cash to be a value pick. Honestly, a guy like Oisin Mullen, like, if he gets games, he'll go up in price, right? Dylan Williams, there was talk about him a bit earlier. Then you've got all the rookies, mainly Saints rookies, right? Then for the last spot, I've got Bo Allen. I think that he's just going to score good enough that you can have him on field. At least of the defensive rookies, I think he's going to be the best one to start off with. Then on the bench, I have these guys. Obviously, like, once you get to the bench rookies, right? Like, nobody knows. Like, I think it was Sam Laylor Josh Smiley has a injury at the moment, so nobody knows who's playing, right? Anything can happen. A guy can just, the team goes, oh, actually, we want to start him in the VFL for a bit. It's like, oh, well, even if it's a high picks can start in the VFL. It's happened before. Let's see. I want Richmond, Caleb Smith. So there's been a couple of reports from Richmond's training groups and, preseason games and stuff like that, even if they're like half games. Caleb Smith, halfback, he's impressing a lot. So, again, this is nobody knows who's playing here. So I'm going to start him if he has the role. He did play a couple of games last year, so that they have seen him. I think if they're playing him as a halfback now, they're playing it with the idea that he could like actually play there and play significant amount of games for them. So I'm pretty happy with that pick. And then I've just gone Saad Al Houli. See if he gets games. Essendon are in bad need to kind of just rework their defense. I think the Ben Mackay thing might go down as like one of the worst like big money moves just for being absolutely useless, right? Like it's done nothing for Essendon at all, besides put him in like cap hell. Now we're on to the midfield. So I have actually gone with Bont now. Originally I didn't have Bont, and the idea was at 681 there's not that much value there, right? Like obviously good player. He's I think the highest scoring player. Yep, he is the highest scoring player. So there needs to be another word, not value, but like scoring potential there. But the value I don't think is there. At 681, it's only going to go down. Obviously, it's probably going to go down to go back up, but I don't know. I feel like if you didn't start Bont, there will be a time to trade him in, and you'll get him at a fair discount, right? Like maybe from 681 it's down to 650, which would put him, the Butters price range, or maybe he drops all the way down to 630 or something like that, right? Not impossible. If we go to his price history last year, there was a price drop, right? And that's when most of the people brought him in. The problem with doing that though is he's got 6 points on the next highest guy, which is like, it's only 6 points. That's 6 points every game. So say the drop comes around the bye rounds, so you're looking at your 12, 13, 14. That's a lot of points you've dropped. That's, you're probably going on about like 50 points. No, say it's round 10, 60 points you've lost. That's a fair amount, and that's not including captains. So now it's 12 points a game. It does add up. So for now, I've got Bont. I'm not against not starting him though, because I do see the dilemma with the price. Next, Butters. Very good year last year. I have not seen anything that would say he's not going to have that good a year this year. Only issue with him is still, this was the issue last year, and it's why some people didn't even like having him last year. I know I like watching him, but I hate him in Supercoach because I like watching him. Because, man, this guy goes into every contest head first, and in an era where if you take the slightest head knock, you're getting concussion tested, and if you just answer a question wrong, now you're out for 2 weeks, right? It's a very dangerous player to have, but he's a very, very, very good player, right? Played all 23 last year. It's just like, does he go into one contest too many, takes a hit to the head, and now he's done for 2 weeks? Obviously, there's the Port Medical situation where they definitely have concussed players that they let play on. We'll see. This is one of those guys, right? Like, he's going to be brilliant for 17 rounds. Takes a concussion. He's out 2 weeks. You've lost all your rank. He's going to come back, drop a bad score because he's a bit rusty. He hasn't played in 2 weeks. And now, it's not a great pick. At least for the end of the season, right? I guess end of the season you could trade him out sideways or something like that, right? But whatever. Next, Daicos. Again, I think this is a must pick. I don't think it is outlandish to say Daicos is the best player in the AFL. Probably should have won. Bont should have won the Brownlow last year. There's an argument Daicos should have won it. It's just, there was this mid-season slump for Daicos, right? But yeah, I mean, it's between Bont and Daicos, honestly, for best player in the league. Bont's been a bit more, he's been doing it for longer. So you probably give it to Bont for now, but 2 years from now, I think Daicos is going to be best player in the league, and it's not going to be close. Next, LDU. So again, going into North, all these guys should get better. The system that they've got is good. I just don't think they have the players, or had the players last year to even come close to making it work, right? To get any type of results from games. I think now, this year, they've got a couple more guys, a couple more years on these guys. I think LDU, this is his 5th year? 5th or 6th? Oh, alright, give me a second. Alright, we're back. I really still don't like this website. I think it is so, like, archaically bad. You press on something and the whole page resets. But anyway, LDU's done multiple years in the system at this point. He's just a genuine good player. If he played for a bigger club, an Essendon, Richmond, Collingwood, something like that, he'd be heralded as one of like the upcoming best players in the league. Would a lot of that be overhyped because of those clubs? Yeah, like he's not better than Sarong. He's not better than Merritt. He's not better than any of these guys, but he could be, right, in a couple of years. Maybe even this year. You know, he's starting to hit that prime section of your career. Next, I did have Petrarca for a while. So Petrarca, you look at the off-season workouts and everything like that, he looked very good. And then he got hurt. I think it would have been maybe the beginning of this year, like first couple of weeks of this year. He, got hurt in training. So X and A on Petrarca. I've tried with Josh Kelly. I've tried with a couple of these guys that worked last year. Not feeling it, really. Like, I think Taranto could have a good year this year. It's pretty dim down here. And then I saw a couple of Clayton Oliver off-season pictures. Alright, whether this guy's on gear again or off it, he looks very good. And he looks solid enough to be value at 450k. I think he could get to 550. I think that this is a very good pick. Do you have to watch round 0, round 1? I don't actually know off the top of my head if Melbourne plays in round 0. I'd imagine they don't. They're not a big enough club. Do you have to watch all these games and be ready to trade him out before round 3, before price changes come, and then you miss someone that's skyrocketing? Potentially, right? That could happen. But for now, I really like the Clayton Oliver pick. Next round into rookies, right? So let's go number 1 pick, number 3 pick. I think Jaguar was 3, Draper was 4. Ashcroft shouldn't have really been allowed to be picked where he was. Who we got? Smiley, who's hurt at the moment, but I mean, there's no point in not starting him, right? He's going to play at some point. And then Saints guy. Like that, and then do that. So I think that these 3 are probably the best on-field options. Jagger Smith is going to have a bit of an issue in where does he fit, because you got Cripps, you got Walsh, you got Chera, Hewitt. I guess Kennedy they got rid of, but there's still a lot of guys there at Carlton. Smiley hurt, of course, but I think if he plays, Smiley could be a better scorer than Draper or Ashcroft. Ashcroft, I could see issues with games, right? Like, you'd assume, rightfully, that they're going to force games into him, right? He's talented. Some people have said he's better than Will Ashcroft, so obviously they're going to want to put games into him, but it could be because Brisbane's premiership window is still open. I know they lost Danaher in the year older now, but their premiership window is still open. They could say, oh, we'll bring him along slowly, and he could struggle for playing 4 games in a row. He might play 2, get dropped, play another 2, get dropped, play 2 and get dropped. It's possible, but I think it's right to assume that they're probably going to just pump games into him from the get-go. And there's round 0 for him, so you can have a look and see if he plays, if he looks good when he plays. So, rucks, I've changed up a lot. Originally, my idea was pick Cherry, pick Marshall, pick Gawn, whatever, and then you'd never have to touch rucks, right? Unless there's an injury, you don't have to touch rucks ever. I've kind of switched up on that a little bit, and I'm going to go a bit more value this year. Last year, when I went value, it absolutely blew up my team, right? I was top 1k for a lot of the year. I went for a value pick, and it destroyed that rank, right? I couldn't even come close to it anymore. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do that again. I've gone with Meek and De Koning. Hawks, by every metric, should be better this year. Last year, they were overperforming. This year, they know what they're good at. They've gotten better as well, right? They got in Barras. They've brought in Josh Battle. They should be better this year. Their midfield is good. They're young. They're going to get better. I think Jai Newcomb is one of those guys that could become a very, very solid player. Over the course of his career, and then just go Bond on the bench. I do prefer the Freo guy because I think Freo have more Sunday games, which does help for loops, but I haven't been bothered to check the schedule. I'll be completely honest. So, I think last video when I showed the team, I said Horne-Francis, absolute must pick. There's no one that comes close. I'm actually not going to pick Horne-Francis. This is kind of just me seeing how I like the team, right? I think, honestly, you do just want to start Horne-Francis, right? 48% ownership. I think most people are just going to start him, right? Pay up and start him. I've actually gone the value approach here, which is Macrae, Bailey Smith, and... Where is he? Oh, still a fair way to go. There he is, Caleb Daniel. So, Macrae, I'm not actually sold on. I know everyone's like, oh, but, before he got moved out to the wing because of Bailey Smith, he was, basically one of the best Supercoach players ever. He's a lot older now, right? You're going on a couple of years ago. A lot of the players in this team weren't playing yet when Macrae was that good. I don't know if I like having Macrae, or at least starting him. That's a guy that, again, I'd be fine with missing a price rise on if I know he's back. And I think mid-season he could fall off huge because the age is going to catch up to him. And, I mean, you can't even for sure say what his role is going to be at St Kilda. You say inside mid, but could they play him on the wing and then, I don't know, move Naz closer to the midfield or something like that? Or, again, I said Hugo Garcia is a breakout candidate. Could he go into the midfield and stuff like that? And then it's just Macrae at the Dogs, but he's wearing a different jersey now. Bailey Smith, that's a lock pick. I don't even have to bother talking about it. Just pick him. He's good. He's a very good player. Then Caleb Daniel, another one I'm not sold on. I don't think he's going to play consistently. And when he plays, I don't think he's going to be that good. I'm getting people telling me, oh, you've got to pick him. I don't see it. And I'm not going to see it until he's averaging 85. He's not that good a player. This is a guy that I will, put it on. He's not that good. He was stat padding in a Dogs midfield that would always win the possession battle, right? The possession count would always go the Dogs' favour. He's not a good defender. He's not a good forward. And he's too small to be a current day midfielder when everyone is big-bodied. I don't see even where he fits in the North Melbourne team. I'll be honest. But, everyone's saying, oh, there's value here. You have to pick him. We'll see. Whereas this guy, I actually think is value, and I would take him over Caleb Daniel every day. Where is he? I'm missing him. He should be in this range, shouldn't he? Oh, no, down a little bit. Ryan Marrick. Ryan Marrick is going to be playing defense this year. They haven't said where in defense yet, but I think it's pretty safe to assume he's going to be either a floating halfback, or they're going to try to have him play some type of second man, third man role in defense. Because there's no Barras anymore, right? And they need a tall back there. Marrick isn't... I mean, he's a tall dude, but he's not like, you play him as a tall back or anything like that, right? I think that there is a lot of potential there. He's played forward, he's played wing, he's played... now he's playing defense, right? So I really like the pick. I think this is a guy that he's priced at a 41 average. If he plays defense for West Coast, who, again, I don't know if they're going to be bottom 4, but they could be bottom 5. He's going to average over 42, right? He'll average at least in like the mid to high 60s or in the 70s or something like that, which is a lot of value. Like, if he gets to the 70s, he's going to get to 400k, trade him on. Say you've got 100k in the bank, you can move up to a Horne-Francis, right? But yeah, I really like the Marek pick. I like it a lot more than I like the Caleb Daniel pick, that's for sure. Next, these are like guys that basically everyone has. So Tom Lynch, I mean, if he plays, he's one of the better goal kicking forwards, even when he's not accurate at all, but he's pretty good still. It's just a matter of if he plays. The injuries have been crazy for him. They're really starting to pile up, but he manages to somehow play in big games. So we'll see. And Richmond, I think, are going to have a lot of big games this year, even though like Richmond are probably going to be a bottom 4 team, probably. They're going to have a lot of big games in, how are the rookies going to work, right? Like, you've got to get games into Lele, you've got to get games into Smiley, and, these guys have to perform. So I think the big games are going to be more sentimental games that are big games. Next one, Daniel Curtin. I was pretty big on this guy like at the end of last year, thinking like he should have played more for Adelaide. Matthew Nicks is Matthew Nicks, right? They're saying that Curtin's going to play in the midfield. I think he should be playing off halfback. Whatever, right? Like, Matthew Nicks is definitely one of the coaches of all time when it comes to player positioning. On the bench, I've gone with Mitch Lewis and Jack Martin. 2 guys that, when healthy, are going to play. They're going to play. Jack Martin will play that small forward role at Geelong. You look at Stengel, you look at all these guys that have played it in the past. They're always very good goal scorers. So I think them getting him was a bit of a bargain. It's kind of underrated as well. And then Mitch Lewis, when he's healthy, I think he's one of the more entertaining forwards to watch. So I'm very happy in picking him because I really like watching healthy Mitch Lewis. I think that his attack of the ball is one of the best in the league, and no one talks about it because he's never playing. And then on the flex, I've gone Elijah Hewitt, West Coast bias. Yeah, is what it is. Leaves 95k in the bank, right? So this team is not final by any means. I would rather have Horne-Francis. How am I going to get there? I have no idea. I guess I could go like Schoenmaker down, Marek down, and then like have a Kako or something on the bench. Right? Let's have a look. How does that look? Kako, and then I'd end up having to start Mitch Lewis. That gives me 170. I'd still need a bit more. Go him down quickly. Let's go down here. I guess it's going to be one of the Saints rookies, isn't it? Yeah. Talru. I'm not a fan of starting him though. I might have to move guys around. And then Hiard, that lets me get to Horne-Francis. So like there are 2 ways I can do this team. The way I just showed, and then this way. I'm not too sure which I'm going to go with, or if I'm going to go with like this ruck structure or anything like that. Like I said, I haven't really been that motivated to read up on all the Supercoach stuff this year. I think the game is just changing so much. It is overwhelming. Flex spot, all the trades, all the boosts, round 0. It's not the same Supercoach that I played years ago. And for a lot of people, that's going to be a good thing. for me, it is a overwhelming thing that makes me not really want to play as much anymore. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure like there's still going to be videos every week on it. But yeah, I'd say going into this season, the motivation isn't that high, but this could be the year, right? This could be the year that I finally get my top 1k finish. Last year should have been the year, and I got screwed at the end because of like 2 bad picks and a horror round where I had like 3 injuries in 1 round. But yeah, so that's about it for this update. Let me know who you guys are starting. There's a lot of guys that are getting talked about, but not like enough. So put some names down there, and I'm going to do some research on them. And I'm thinking about making a video which is just like all these value picks. They don't have to be like the best pick, right? Like, let's just go down here. Always is not going to do good. I was going to use him as an example, but he's not going to be good. Like Caddy, for instance, right? Like Caddy could have a breakout year. If you can make a case for Caddy having a breakout year and do that in a comment, I'll make a video talking about how Caddy could have a breakout year. Hugo Garcia, I basically was like talking about a lot. He is forward mid. He might be better than some of the rookies. That's worth a shout. I think you could start him over some of the rookies, possibly. But yeah, that's about it for this update. I'll see you all next time.